board game. I came from Nashville, damn it.
Well, sorry. You're a part of a podcast crew that 3 members are in Bowling Green, so take it up with the head of the department. Yeah.
Who's that?
Jill. And
Good
Annabeth.
luck.
But Jill's just the person you got to get to have a meeting with Annabeth.
I imagine Jill's not a fan of mine ever since the Little Prince podcast.
Yeah, so, which is why they're the head of the department.
Yeah, they make the decisions around here.
Yep.
Gosh.
I just meet in their offices, man. We're just the talent. They're the fucking ones wrangling us.
That's totally fine. Do you think Jill's watching right now?
Every day. There
Oh,
should be a little tube camera looking down in here.
Oh, yeah. Have you not noticed that yet?
it's like the opposite
Sure.
of one of those like boat things that the submarines that has. The,
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
but
big...
it goes down
periscope.
instead.
Yeah.
Periscope. That's it.
There it is. All right, anyway. Welcome to a knockout episode of F Movie Podcast.
Well played.
Yep. Ooh, hold on. I just want to take a moment to appreciate that the little box isn't red around my face for the first time. I don't know. It's always red. Anyway.
Counting as white now.
Price's is red, but mine's not red. Anyway, here's our show. Price, Mason, Nathan, me.
Yep.
Not in whatever order I pointed at just then. And, guys, what are we talking about today? Nathan, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Creed.
Hell yeah.
Creed.
Spiritual sequel to the Rocky series.
Spiritual sequel?
Not-
You had to use that term?
Not the
like
band by
Spiritual
Creed. It's a Rocky sequel
Yeah.
thing.
It's a Rocky verse sequel technically, but it's starting its own franchise. We'll get into it. Mason, why don't you pick up and describe this movie?
Sure.
Take it.
Apollo Creed's son, who he never met because he died while he was in the womb, basically grows up in a rough area. He's always getting into fights. He is basically adopted by his actual mother, maybe?
No,
No.
it's the Apollo Creed's wife, but like Apollo Creed, whenever he
Had
had
an affair.
Creed,
Yeah.
the son.
Okay, I missed
was a
that
fair.
part.
Yeah.
Anyways, basically a very wealthy woman takes him in, brings him up right to the best that she can, and he eventually turns down a very good job and then seeks out a fighting career, boxing career. Then he finds Rocky for whatever reason. He hunts him down and has him train him. And he wants to be the best. He always wants to move on. He always wants to fight the next best dude. And yeah, basically gets a relationship along the way with Rocky and a girl.
Tessa Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A delight.
Valkyrie.
Yeah. Yeah, so Killmonger and Valkyrie get together and take over Philadelphia. For all the Marvel fans out there who are confused by these actors' names, Killmonger's back.
Yeah.
I was not a big fan of her character, really. She felt kind of
So,
shoehorned in for me.
I'll agree. She's not the
Yeah.
greatest, but in the second one, it's a lot about her.
Oh, yeah.
She's a lot more
Is
in
it
it.
better for it?
I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about, too. Me and Dylan.
Yes
at least.
and no. Yeah,
okay.
me and Mason will partly give Creed 2 review part of the feelings
Yeah.
throughout the second
All
one.
right, sure.
In the first one, I feel like she's more invested and likable. In the second one, spoiler, like they get married and start to have a kid, and then they play like the parent thing, and her hearing starts to decline more rapidly. So that's like the drama piece there compared to the first one where it's Rocky and Rocky's health and all of that. But yeah, this one I tend to like her more in the first one more than the second one, just because she's. I mean, sure, you can say that she's kind of the shoot-in like romance or something like that.
That's
and
exactly what I think.
yeah, it's not terribly hard to argue, but at the end of the day, for me, I'm like, sure, is that probably true? Yeah, if I looked at it narratively, like, you could take her out,
You 100% could take her out and nothing would change.
but I enjoy
Literally
her.
nothing.
I enjoy Tessa Thompson in that character and the extra stuff he comes in with it, because you're right, she doesn't do a whole lot of extra humanizing with it, because Creed's already pretty damn human by the whole time this whole movie starts.
Very
Yeah.
flawed. But,
Yeah. He starts out as, this flawed foster kid who just comes from, like, this heritage of great boxing. This is, like, pretty much if Muhammad Ali had a kid and he had to come up and try to make his own legacy, so to speak, with it.
Yep.
So I appreciate that he's kind of following this family path because it kind of feels like his natural call to things. And I don't know. I want to start, like, from the beginning of the movie because we've leaping in the middle with Tessa Thompson. I'm going to go all over the place. So from, like, the beginning when he's just knocking dudes out in Tijuana, I'm just like, all right, this is a little fun. Like, let's see where this goes. But honestly, this is a movie that, something about sports dramas, that it only clicks with me if the drama actually really weighs in this heavy. And I think this is where we either definitely keep the podcast or we definitely lose members on the podcast. Nathan especially. So, but, alright, preface. I've not seen any Rockies up until this point. I just kind of know, like, some of the stuff that happens in Rocky. I know that Creed's dad dies whenever he fights the Russian. in like Creed 4 or Rocky 4.
Rocky 2, I thought.
Rocky 2 or Rocky 4. I forget which it is.
You
But
don't hear anything from this side of the table.
yeah, whatever. So neither of us have watched Rocky, but we remember that Creed's dad dies in a big old Russian fight, and he just destroys him. Right? Playing the Creed 2. We'll come back to that one for another time. But so we're having this moment, and I'm like, okay, so there's some stakes here, and then he goes to find Rocky, and Rocky's just this old, like, grumpy, like, you know, very typical, like, oh, main character is now in the future stuff and that stuff. But I thought this was actually pretty fun, because, like, not having a basis of understanding how Rocky exactly should be, having him play, like, the pseudo-dad role model part, I thought it was pretty alright. Like, I guess because I have a lowered expectation thinking sports drama, I kind of expect to go in it just kind of being like, this is going to be, like, around 6 or 7 dialogue, you know, not really invested. But I was honestly surprised by Sly. Like, I came in, I'm like, Sly can act. Look at this man over here. Like, I genuinely feel engaged about this character and the drama that they're putting on this one. But that's me. I want to hear about the rest of the table with it, specifically Nathan, because, spoiler, he did not feel that way.
This movie, I don't know, like, it probably is something that would have grabbed a lot of people. It's probably engaging to a different audience other than me.
Mm-hmm.
I never felt very invested in this movie through the whole course of watching it.
If they had robotic arms, would it have
You'd
pushed you in?
You'd have had me a little bit more right now, for sure.
But why
For
didn't
sure.
why
But
didn't
you
why
see,
didn't
I'm
have
not
you?
specking into combat. I'm just doing hacking.
Right,
so
right.
I
Okay,
don't.
that's fair. Yeah.
Boxing is just not my bag.
Okay, but why were you not invested? I'm curious.
This is like the blandest, most predictable, not very interesting story I think I've seen in a movie in a while. I feel like I could have seen this movie so many times, so many different ways, and been just as disinterested as I was watching this iteration of this kind of like boxing story of this troubled character and this old wise person trying to help him, and then like nothing in this movie surprised me at any point along the way. Rocky having cancer, of course. Our main character losing it and punching people that he shouldn't, obviously.
I love it. I agree. I think I see your point, but I also think that we are sort of like Mandela affecting this whole like we've seen some boxing movies and we've seen some like fighting sort of like movies.
We only watched
I'm
one on
surprised
the
we haven't
podcast.
made a lot of
We had a
comparisons to
couple.
Warrior so far.
Oh,
in this
don't
one,
even
but-
talk about Warrior. That
It-
movie.
it's nothing compared to
Oh,
it. Like,
Warrior.
that's the problem.
No, it's not. But like
I just want to work my traps.
I'm waiting to hear like the fighter drama kind of come in as a comparison with it. Like,
So I totally agree with Nathan there, where like to me it was kind of like watching all the gangster movies. By the time we got to like a really really good one, or the one that was like really profound and like kind of
Oh,
I don't know about you, I was just
yeah,
sick of it.
we were checked out by then. Yeah.
the-
More Scorsese.
Goodfellas was like supposed to be this like high, top tier great, but then we were just the market was saturated.
We'd seen
right?
6 crime
So-
movies at that point.
So with
This
this
guy.
being,
Why are you proud of this? This is
This
a
guy
mistake.
did it.
Yeah. So with this, I feel the same way, where it was kind of predictable, and I wasn't completely invested in boxing, but that's because I like a little bit more of like the mixed martial arts side of things, and boxing bores me to tears. Me and Price were talking about this earlier, where like boxers are stupid good athletes. Like to be able to just get knocked around in a ring for probably 20 minutes, roughly,
That's
10
insane.
or 12 rounds, whatever it was.
Fighting takes a lot
30
of
to
energy.
36 minutes if it's a 12 rounder.
Yeah.
Technically, it's
So
3-round minutes.
to just get your brains knocked in.
Scrambled.
Great.
Like,
But it's also exhausting to watch, and it's also very like hard to stay invested. Maybe it's like NASCAR, where if you go there and you watch it for real, it's awesome. But
see,
I've watched NASCAR in person before.
have you?
Not
no,
not better.
not
It
better.
still bores you to tears.
Yes.
I'm glad you.
They're gonna make a left.
so loud.
Yeah.
It's so loud.
You're going deaf for nothing. Like, that's... Yeah.
I can't like anytime I ever think about that. Like, this is a complete tangent, but it's unreal how loud it is.
Yeah.
Like, it is terrible to all the people in the
All of these
audience that it
vehicles that
is
have like
loud.
800 plus horsepower going
Right.
200 plus miles an hour.
Okay, I wanted to go back to the predictability thing of this movie because I wholeheartedly agree with Nathan on this one. Because like if I had to write like my own like sports uplifting drama, this is like how I would do it. Is like just exactly how they did this movie. There was nothing I was not expecting on there, especially like I was just saying, like the shoehorned love interest is like something that was not needed in this movie at all. I mean, she wasn't needed. The only thing I will say against our own point though is that like the ending I really liked though, how he actually lost in the end.
Yeah,
I thought that I was
about to say
that.
of all the people who were going to complain for it,
I said
especially just for the Warrior ending.
Oh, believe me, because like Warrior, I was irate.
Tommy didn't win. Look at those traps. This piece of shit.
There's no reason Tommy should have lost it. So when like he actually lost in this one, I was like, that makes sense. Like he's super new to this. He's getting his butt kicked the entire time. His eye is like way over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I had so much fun with that scene when his eyes fucking just swollen and he has to tap him on the.
Yeah.
See, like, and this is the part, right? This is where I'll meet you guys halfway. Does it do anything to reinvent the genre or anything like that? Definitely not. And the story is predictable. And the love interest, narratively, again, this is where I'll say it's extra, but it's for me, it's just comes down to, all right, we did it though, but did you like it? And I think you guys are either meh to no, and I don't know, for me, I was just like, yeah, honestly, like, it's like if you gave me a piece of cake, and then you put whipped cream on it, and I'm like, that's a little extra, but I'm like, it's not terrible, I like the whipped cream, though. That's kind of where I
like cake in, like, any context, but, like...
I don't know. I'm a big sucker for Tessa Thompson, though, so that's the play. And maybe this is, like, it's the perfect little small decisions that played off, right? Like, I really like Tessa Thompson for that.
This is, like, a mass-manufactured cake that you pick up
delicious.
At
you know what?
This
Great.
is the Kroger one that just came out of the freezer, too.
Just
you got
fine.
to eat it maybe in, like, 10 hours.
Just fine. And my expectation was a 2, and I got, like, a 5 out of the cake, right? So it's... And I think expectations had a big part of it as well. So, like, I remember coming in for... I don't remember how I watched this movie the first time. But for whatever reason, I was like, I don't know. I like boxing. Like, it's one of those things where I don't follow it.
Our only two boxing movies.
What was
MMA.
I was about to say Warrior.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
very
why I said
loosely boxing,
yeah.
right. But, yeah, so, and I don't know. Maybe it's the thing about sports dramas where I expect them to just be fucking trash tier dumpsters, and then I'm like, that was fun. Like, and I just come out of it just because expectations are everything.
I expected that because you had picked this movie and because of its, like, pedigree with Rocky, I thought that this would be a particularly good movie and that you had picked it because you're like, this is another really good boxing movie.
You like
I don't
Warrior,
have other boxing movie references. Like, I'm like, I don't watch any other boxing movies.
Warriors, the closest thing to boxing
right,
that
closest
we've
thing we're gonna get.
And I kind of expected it would be something along those lines, and was just like, man, this is so
my problem
boring.
is I needed to pick Creed first and then pick Warrior. So it's
you need to punch below the belt, and then
you don't want to start with Warrior and get to Creed. Like Warrior is definitely really. I could make the same arguments about Creed that we could with Warrior. Warrior is not anything particularly, like, narratively like, oh, wow, I can't believe they did this. It's just the drama, and it feels, like, invested and it works.
And the crunchiness of the punches and such in Warrior.
Warrior,
like,
oh my god. Yeah, everything is visceral and solid
phenomenal.
with it. But, and
that's another thing to remember, too.
So, this is where the fun little moments on the boxing thing moments for me, and I don't know, maybe it also does have to do with the medium as well. When it's just boxing, maybe for you guys it's less investing by the sounds of it. Like, it's just like the action didn't really sell you over the top on it by the sounds. Yeah.
No.
Well, so for me, like, the whole movie was, pretty okay, and I liked the whole movie. And then it got to that last part where they, like you said, they went the distance of all the 12 rounds or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, that part alone was kind of exhausting, where, like, you were meant to feel their exertion. You were meant to feel all of those, like, nips and jabs and, like, the body shots. And, like, to me, it's like, at that point, it did feel like this movie has been going on for a while, and I'd really like for it to wrap up pretty soon, and luckily it does, right? Like, it finally just ends, but it was no worse for doing that, in my opinion alone. It just seemed like the whole movie was trying... It's weird, because I like the second Creed more than the first.
Second Creed is
and with more. That, you have to, like, show appreciation of the first one, because it would have never happened. I thought that the Rocky references, I've only seen the first 2 Rockies, but the Rocky references were almost a little over the top, but you have to pay homage, like you have to...
Yeah, I mean, when you're creating a whole new series, and Sly is literally in it, and a gigantic character to the story, you really can't not,
the film footage of him, up there in front of the projector screen, like, throwing the same punch as his dad was, and all. What I did find kind of strange about this was the amount of appreciation that... Adonis had for Rocky, but not his freaking father. Didn't understand that at all.
No, that one I get on board with because there's a lot
Because
of
he
that.
abandoned him?
Yeah, like, I mean, he has that love-hate relationship with him where he's like, yeah, I strive to want to be you now, but at the same time, I'm pissed
I
that
don't
you had to go
respect
and
you.
die, and then you left me
Like,
in the system. Like,
yeah.
you gotta remember, like, he's putting his whole childhood onto his dad because of his dad's decision to go and do this fight. But then there's also that, like, double-edged sword dynamic where now he's following his footsteps, but he's like, I want to do it my way, but I kind of hate myself
I
for
want to do
doing
it without the name.
Right, without the
same
dad,
path.
without the
Yeah.
title. Yeah.
So what I was gonna say earlier is that about like the predictability of this, I don't think this movie is really striving to excel in that category, which that still doesn't do any favors. I wish it did try to do something in its own way.
What
And
if
I think
the surprise was that it wasn't cancer, but it was AIDS that Rocky had?
I'm done with these what ifs. But I think what they're going for is wanting to sell you on the emotion of everything that's going on, like hyping up everything, like trying to get you excited for it. And I was not on board for that because it felt very pandering the way which they did that.
You mean like the moment where they started playing the classic Rocky music as it was like getting ready to do the fight and everything? Like that was them trying to be like, feel that Rocky feel.
The worst for me by far was the scene where he's like running before the fight and those kids come up with the dirt bikes.
Oh, yeah.
I hated
That
scene.
is actually one of the most iconic parts of this movie.
I cannot say how much I hated that part of the movie. Okay, imagine in real life, okay? He's just going for a run and everybody's like, oh, that's like Creed or whatever. And
I feel
like,
like I have to pick Creed
and like
too
they,
now because I want to see
and
what
they
their
start
thoughts are
doing
on how
like
the shit
wheelies
goes.
down the
right?
street, and then like they somehow know that he's just stopping at this point on his run right in front of Sylvester Stallone's house. So like they stop there, they start running around him like in Mad Max or something, like doing wheelies, and then Creed's just like rah rah rah, and Sylvester Stallone's like rah rah, and I was like, oh,
So
I hate this.
Homage to the originals because like whenever whenever he went down,
I don't
whenever
care.
Whenever he went to the hospital, that was I think this
Ah.
movie trying to get old Rocky fan viewers to like feel for
No,
it.
Christ, the moral of the story is you don't care, but it's not for you, so we don't.
But that's the point. Like
They don't care if
like,
you
You
care.
all have talked about this before, but like, oh, like the movie's doing this because it does this in the books. The movies are doing this because it's something that's important in the sequel. I don't care. I care about the movie I'm watching.
The
I'm
movie
caring about what the
standalone
movie is
matters.
doing.
Yes.
Like, if I took this, like, movie out of all the Rocky stuff, which we did, because most of us have not seen any of the Rockies or anything like that, I am judging this movie solely by what this movie is doing. And I don't care if the other Rocky movies are solely people on dirt bikes going in circles, yelling
There's
at
no
each
dirt
other.
bikes on the other Rocky
The
section.
fact that they did it in this one still annoyed me to no end.
Maybe
And
Cadillacs. I don't know.
it felt really
Probably.
unneeded and pandering,
Meat vans.
and did not like it. Go ahead.
So, I do want to bring up another point that I thought was just fun is that in the last fight, whenever he's fighting the champ who's about to go to jail, which I'm humored. Like, can we take a minute to laugh at this for a second? I'm the world champion boxer. Well, you're going to jail. What's taking so long? Like,
Yeah.
I have my moments with this movie too. Like, it's far from perfect, but like, it's sitting here and like, why does this motherfucker? What kind of system are they running on UK where he just gets to say, hey, like 6 months, let him have one more fight, and then he gets to go to jail, and they're like, well, I ain't gonna go pick him up. Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
Like,
Look what he did.
right?
We're gonna need a SWAT
The
team to
cops
pick
are
him
like,
up.
he is pound for pound the best boxer in the
No,
world.
no. Bronson, okay? I
Yes,
don't want to
true.
hear a damn thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what they did with Bronson. They just let him
Yeah.
wreak havoc. No, your point stands unvalid.
That was the British system, though.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's all the same.
Same British people.
We have
I mean,
guns
he's
in
over
ours.
So anyway, that's true. We'll shoot him. So if this was Creed, we would have
Oh.
shot him before he ever became a boxer. This is way beyond the point. One of the fun things I do like from just a little like the trivia behind the scenes part and watching it in the movie is the really big shot in the I don't know, like 10th or 11th round in the last fight, right when the champion knocks him and he gets knocked out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love that behind the scenes. He actually gets knocked out, and they let it record because
It
you
was
see his
sudden.
body's reaction. Like,
Yeah.
as you're watching it, and you know that that's like, oh shit, he's actually knocked out, and like everything behind the scenes is like, whatever
Black.
CG and bullshit like that. But seeing him knocked out and see his body just limp up, and as he hits the ground, and like all of that, it's very satisfying to watch and be like, huh, man, he's really out. That's terrible for your brain. You should not be letting him do that. But then Sly, like, of course, you're filming a movie with Sylvester Stallone, and he's like, oh, I got knocked out like every time I got in the ring for these Rocky movies. And we're like, yeah, we hear how you talk. We should probably not get, but I respect the extra
Is that
effort
how he
went
got
behind.
like that?
No.
No, he was
I was
like
about
that
to-
before.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure
But
he-
it didn't help. Like, Listen, if he had
I don't
like a
know how they
slight
filmed
speech
those.
impediment, the Rockies just really brought him down to
Really?
down to earth with it.
I thought like all that was fake and like they maybe you stunt people or something.
No, not like Sly insisted. Like Evo never. I'm forgetting the big giant Russians in the old school Rockies
Couldn't tell
actor.
you.
He's actually a genius. He's in Mensa. Whatever. I'll remember it way later.
Yeah, like an actual like rocket science or something. Rocket scientist or
Yeah,
something. He's
like
like stupid smart.
Ivan something.
Ivan Drago is the character,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
can't remember who the actor is for
Yeah.
the life of me. But anyway, he's like a genius and incredibly fucking beefy. Like he's a monster in real life. That aside, yeah, he was saying he would get knocked out by that guy all the time during like Creed 2 or
Oh,
Rocky
that's
2 or
not
4.
good.
It's so bad. Like it is not okay for your brain. Which is why, again, my expectation going in, I'm like, I expect Sylvester to not be acting. Like, and honestly, I was like, it's pretty good for a dude that's half brain
He
dead.
did.
Man.
I
Like,
was impressed. Sylvester Stallone did do some good acting, especially around the cancer parts. He actually was really showing some emotion.
Yeah, like I think for again, and tempering expectations is everything for me. If this was just a regular drama, put Jake Gyllenhaal in it, I'm like, this drama is not that good, right? But I'm like, you give me Sly and you tell me drama, and I'm like, I'm going in for twos. And
Like putting Vin Diesel in there.
exactly,
Like him doing anything.
If you showed me like this is maybe why I enjoy like the what's the one where Riddick movies. Yeah,
Oh,
it's why I enjoy like I expect zeros and I get twos. Right? For this movie, it was
I
expectations was
actually
everything.
kind of like the
Riddick movies are kind of
They're-
fun.
They're
Like,
entertaining.
I've never
Yeah.
seen him.
They would be up your alley though.
Oh, yeah.
They're just sci-fi.
Yeah,
you know?
don't worry, you'll see him.
Oh yeah, don't worry, it'll come up.
It
in
is-
our
it is
I'm
Nathan's
reaching the
pick
bottom of the
next.
barrel.
It is your pick next. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Well,
Well, there you go.
we'll get there, I guess, because we got to do that rotation and figuring out how we're gonna.
Yeah,
but
it's just-
we're not gonna do that on screen though. So
Okay, whatever.
anyway, yeah, I think that's like my last little part on. I just wanted to add in and say, yeah, like Michael B. Jordan actually gets knocked out, and they're like, okay, and he's like, yeah, you better record that and use that in the movie, and they're like, fuck, yeah, we might as well, and yeah, it was just fun to watch, but. I think that's all the parts I really enjoy, and I don't know. You missing anything?
Well, I was gonna say like some of the better pros that I was just saving was like the sound mixing in this movie I think was pretty good. It wasn't as good as Warrior, but like
yeah.
they really laid into the music on this. Like obviously the girl was a music like mixer or DJ or whatever,
Tessa
producer.
Thompson's actually an artist.
Really?
On that too. Yeah, I didn't know that. Read that today.
But as far as like that motorcycle scene, right? That part was a little silly. Okay.
It's pretty cheesy.
But the
A
music,
little silly.
The music.
Do you want me to go
behind it
back to my
was
tirade a few minutes ago?
No, we heard
we got
about
it. We got it on record.
sweet.
Anybody who loved it can just go back.
A movie like this, like I don't want to, try to hype it up too much, but like
You
if
are.
you just hook up your surround sound and you just put this thing on loud,
surround
it's gonna
sound?
be pretty sweet.
And then you turn it off and you put on Warrior instead, and you're like, whoa. That's what I was
Warrior
missing.
doesn't have
And
as
then
good
you
of
put
music.
Mad Max
Yeah.
on, you're just blasted out.
Warriors
So, that's
music
the
only
thing.
kicks in for the very last fight, though. Everything else is just sound, which is great. but-
He walked into the orchestral type.
Oh well, yeah. Other than
G
like the intro
minor
movie.
kind of crazy
Yeah.
opera. Anyways,
Yeah.
but like I do think that this movie focused on a lot of the old Rocky and a lot of just music based,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like they were in Philadelphia. I think they got like a really good soundtrack, and I'm not saying that that's enough to hold this movie up by a foundation or anything, but I'm glad that they focused a little bit more on the music. And Dylan said off camera before this, like all of like the little like the text on the screen whenever they would show a boxer, it'd be like, oh, the 13.
I forgot I
and
even
0
said
and
that
1.
on camera. Yeah, the little fighter stats that came
Those
up
were really
so
cool.
fun. Yeah.
Like this is not a video game looking kind of movie, but they had a couple cool little parts that they implemented.
Well, they made it into a video game.
That's true.
Evidently they did.
Apparently they did a VR one.
That
All right.
Nathan's played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to say the video parts one more time, just real quick, because it's fun whenever, or at the very beginning of the film, right? Whenever he knocks out the dude at his uncle's gym, or the guy who helped train his dad, which is why like the guy would not train Adonis for any reason. He's like, no, your dad died. Fuck you. Get out of here. Go be a
And I'll tell
accountant."
everyone else not to train.
Yeah,
either.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why he had to go to Philadelphia. But like whenever he's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna start knocking out your dudes to prove I'm worth it. Knocks out that one scrub, and then it's just like, hey, I'll take on the next fight, and then number 2 best fighter in the world, and you just see his face like, oh shit. Did you guys see that graphic?
And then he like put his helmet on, and then even someone was like, "Oh, you finally
Oh, you
found
put your
some
helmet on.
sense."
Good shit. Yeah.
Yeah, good job, idiot.
Yeah, oh man, that's fun. Like, that's just a little fun moment with that. Sly also wrote all of Rocky's stuff. Like, he had to go back into it.
Yeah.
He's actually a really good writer. which
Well,
is
no,
amazing.
there was one of those movies he wrote in like one night.
Yeah, the Expendables.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could write I could write an Expendable in a night. Like,
Was it really The Expendables?
I get all
I'm
these
sure.
old
I think
action
it was a
stars. We
Rocky.
blow stuff up.
no, he wrote a Rocky that was in
Yeah.
there with it, but either way, yeah, Sly's one of these actually really good writers. And again, it's just like, how? Where's the brain for this?
Well,
But-
I mean, also the man knows his character.
Right,
He did
but-
so many films with that character.
You can know your character and still not know how to write for shit, though.
I want
Like,
to say it was like
Yeah.
Balboa or something. It was one
Probably,
that didn't get
yeah.
a lot of great feedback, but that was the one I think that he wrote in a very short
yeah,
amount
I
of
feel like it
time.
was like Rocky 6 technically, but they just named him Balboa, and nobody remembers that shit anyway. But anyway, let's get into Fat Pitt and Perfectly Brad Pitt. I don't know what I'm going for there.
That's a good
Fat,
one.
thin, and perfectly fit. There we go. In this segment, we tell you if we thought the movie was too long, we could cut it, or if it's we wish there was more to it, or if it's just right runtime matches, all that stuff. Nathan.
Okay, well, I've already said that this movie just wasn't really my bag to begin with. I will say that runtime-wise, normally I'm not really bothered by a long runtime. 2 hours and
20
15
minutes,
or so is what this thing ran at. That was pretty long for what this movie actually did. I think it could have certainly been done a lot quicker. The love interest stuff was just a little side distraction that probably could have been chipped down a little bit. Heck, even all the rounds of the boxing, I don't know. Boxing's just not my thing. So, I don't want to harp on picking it apart.
It's like, let me take the
It was
boxing
just-
out.
It was just long. It was too long for the story it was trying to tell. How you want to cut it is up to you. If you like this movie better, you should be the one cutting it, because I can only tell you that it's more than it needed to be.
Works for me. I'll be the one to cut it because this movie is fat. I felt this movie is just so long for what it's trying to do, which is just tell the story of Creed and how he's entering the boxing world. Because at the end, he's not at the apex of the boxing world. So it's not showing his complete journey to where he wants to be. It's his complete journey up to this point. And that could have been done 45 minutes sooner. The girl was not needed at all. A lot of the culture around boxing that they show, it's Rocky's going to all the gyms hey, this is my old buddy and look how fast he hands. They call him Johnny Fast Hands because he can do all this and you can do all that. And all this, yeah, they did. He takes him to a
They
gym.
did do something
No,
like that.
they got
where
They
he's
did.
But it's not as
his
fleshed
four
out
old
as
men
Johnny
friends.
Fast Hands. And this is
Yeah,
the Fast
because
Hands
Sylvester Stallone's I can't do that with you.
All right,
This
anyway,
guy's got to do
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But a lot of that back stuff was not needed, and I mean, I wasn't too big a fan of this movie as a whole, so I'm going to be biased when I say fat, but 2 hours and 20 minutes is a tall order for almost any sports movie, in my opinion. The average I'll put these at that they would need to be is an hour 45 or something. Because
And dare I say it, I think
That's a lot.
Warrior did it in 2 hours and some small change.
Yeah, just over 2.
Just barely 2.
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean,
Go for
speaking of sports movies, though, you can give me more Rush.
That's true.
ooh,
oh yeah,
I love
Yeah.
Rush.
this ass fits this seat or
Yeah.
whatever you
I have
say.
the perfect ass.
My ass can feel every vibration in this
There he is.
God bless me with the best ass.
So we have watched another sports drama. I forgot about Rush
yeah,
entirely.
it's weird for me to think racing
How
is
could
a
you
sports
forget
drama.
about Nikki?
No, Niki Lauda. is the
Dylan,
best.
Dylan let me forget.
Yeah.
He used to say it
Man.
all the time.
It was Baron Nemo for all of our Marvel watching fans, and he's racing Thor.
Yeah.
God bless the
Perfect.
Marvel universe. Anyway,
All right, let's get to the side of the table that likes this movie.
oh man, I hate to say it, but I think it's fit. I just enjoy everything they put on the table because, and here's the thing, Price is gonna shut up, Price. You like Foxcatcher, and you said that was
oh,
fit. So.
that, I
Talk
said
about
that
another
movie's
sports
fat.
drama.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a sports drama.
yeah.
That's a drama sport right there.
Right.
That movie is long.
yeah.
It is.
Unbearably
I
long.
really hope I said fat in this
Probably didn't.
Nathan, can you do some great video editing and cue in whatever his score was for Nike?
Oh, it
or
was like
Foxcatcher?
9.5, but fat.
No, I'm
doesn't
talking
have
your
to,
Fat Fit segment. For
Oh,
just
I
one
have no
picture.
idea.
Anyway, yeah, man, I just like what they put out there. And Price has the argument that says, all right, well, yes, the love romance doesn't add anything to the movie, blah, 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 blah. But
I said that.
here's my thing with that, though, is, sure, if you're looking at it on this episode, because that is how you're looking at it. But from the director point of view, they're looking at it knowing that they're going to make something more out of it. They're going to make sequels off this. So they need to have the foundation built in this movie for it to kind of make sense in the later films.
But they didn't even develop it that well. Especially
Yeah,
the
if you're
part that
gonna
I
make a
think
series,
of.
don't you want the first one to be good?
like
why would you?
You're right. They did make a good one.
the part that got me upset the most is like when they had that breakup scene, they don't see each other for like months or something, and then Sylvester was like, "I got you something outside," and then she just shows up, and then they pound, and then he goes to fight.
Yeah,
like
but
they don't even talk.
So yeah, but here's the best part: they don't tell you that Sylvester Stallone was gonna knock her out if she didn't. So
you didn't see the off-camera
there's
part.
so much left off of the camera that I almost say this goes thin, or it goes thin on the matter. But no.
We needed to see that scene.
I like it better with having a dark. If you don't watch Rocky, he's really into this thing. So I like
domestic abuse.
Yeah, I like the implications.
Yeah, see, that's the way his writing is. Like he writes all the lines for Rocky so that he can hide just how bad
all
Rocky
of the scenes
is behind the scenes.
Rocky's actually a monster.
But since he's writing it himself.
Yeah, but I'm gonna make him look real good. Like, listen. All right. So yes, again, this is for me knowing that there's an arc that they're going for in future franchises, and I've seen the second one, and the second one doesn't have a lot of human element without Tessa Thompson. So you kind of got to put her in the first movie, otherwise you throw her in, and then you got to do it all.
But
in the
judge
second.
this movie as its own movie.
No, because it's a franchise. And when I watched it by itself and looked at the first movie, I liked it. So I am going to judge it and say, I liked it. Fuck you, Price. It's fit.
I won't do it willingly.
So the problem with this movie is, like, it is fat, okay? But I think that they went for a bunch of different branches off of this tree, okay? You could have gone full nostalgia with Rocky, and it could have been Rocky 26, because they've made all of them, right?
Yeah.
They've made 26 of them. But it didn't. It touched
It's an
into that.
exaggeration.
It could be slightly.
There's only like 9 less, but it's an exaggeration.
It's like 7, I think.
Yeah, I think there's 7.
So you had that. You could have made just a generic, predictable boxing movie. And full on, and it probably would have been fit. Yeah. But it did.
Shut up, peanut gallery.
So you had that, right? And then they could have gone with the route of, well, we need to play it into where it's going to be a sequel, right? So we have to make sure that he loses, right? The problem is they did all of it. They did all 3 of those where they just mixed their hands in all 3 pots and they threw it all in a bowl. Mm. That's what makes this movie fat.
So they made stir fry.
You're saying it like it's a bad thing.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Do you
of
not
stir
like
fry.
stir fry?
Not really.
It's too many vegetables.
Too many vegetables.
How can we trust this man's opinion on movies?
He doesn't like vegetables.
The way that you could cut this movie down and to make it, I think, better, in my opinion, I don't like Rocky. You take some of that out, but then you lose that.
Then you lose the whole identity of the
thing
movie.
Is,
So.
No, I don't see you take Rocky out. I'm just saying you take out all of that nostalgia.
You shrink down
Adrian's.
Rocky.
You take out you take all that stuff
out.
Like
it's his side stuff, right? Yeah.
If you're gonna make a standalone kind of movie, make a standalone-ish movie. You can have him in there. You can play one Apollo Creed thing. You can say he's Creed's blood. It's 3 things you do. You're done. That's all you need. If you were to implement some more fight scenes from the beginning to the end, like pickup fights. I think this movie's a lot better.
Like ranking up fights even.
Yeah, because he basically went from Tijuana, and he knocked some dude out that a lot of Hispanic people were betting on.
Yeah.
That was a cool fight. Then he went to that ring where he
gets knocked out by the number 2 fighter.
Well, he beats that one, but immediately
gets
gets knocked out by number 2.
That's not really a fight. He just hits that guy one time. He gives him a Tommy hit.
Exactly.
He gets knocked out.
And then you don't see him fight again, besides the producer guy at that place, which wasn't a fight. And then you see the main fight, which lasted 26 minutes.
By the way, too.
Which one?
Do you?
That producer guy, you beat him up.
Silly.
Yeah. The producer guy.
The guy that Tessa Thompson is like,
we're
going to fight the rapper. That's
the
funny.
Rapper guy?
Well, no, he has one more fight. He has the fight against the Rocky's old gym guy's bought. No.
Oh.
The Sparino or whatever. It's the one fight between
the son of the
guy who rats out that he's Adonis's son.
I mean, going back to that, like where
who's a ranked fighter,
where he hit that rapper guy. The fact that like Tessa Thompson, like I get that she's been working for this and she really wants it, but that guy said like, what was that? Like he said
some
something
terrible
really over the line, wasn't
he? He said
you better like give him a ticket to meet his dad.
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly.
Like, oh, no.
This kid was in juvie for a long time. He's not going to put up with a death threat.
Nah.
So my problem, not quite enough fighting.
Instant
and when they really wanted
Fuck
the fighting, they really just hashed it in all at that final 12-round fight, which at that point I was kind of sort of checked out. It was good, but it was just too flushed out at the very end.
Yeah.
That's mine. I think it's fat, and that's the reason why I think it's fat.
What about the delayed gratification from Warrior, though? You remember where there's that dick fighter or whatever that Tommy finally gets to fight?
Oh, Mad Dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was making sure we all remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was great.
He had, like, the green hair still
Yeah.
or something.
Mohawk on it. He woofs in his face and it just gets obliterated.
If his like comment card came up, it'd be like 3, 6, and 3 or something.
Right.
Mad Dog wasn't all that good.
Yeah.
He was all talk.
All right. Again.
He was all bark and no bite.
I didn't want to say it.
I did.
All right, so moving on. Scores.
There's a question thing that's supposed to go on here, but I don't believe
Question,
in it.
question,
So
question,
let's go
question,
into this-
question.
All right, fine.
Oh yeah, there's a question. Yeah.
Here's a question: Warrior or Creed? Everybody says Warrior. Next segment. So
You suck at this. Mason asked the
All right,
quintessential
here's the
question of
question.
Jake Gyllenhaal. and
Would
this
you
is what
guys
we get.
consider, with our raving reviews of the second one, would you guys consider watching the second
No.
one?
If you all picked it.
All
Yeah.
right, there's our answers.
Nathan's like, well, the rules of this podcast say I've made you watch everything bad.
He's read the terms
Like,
and agreements.
I've made you guys watch some pretty rough stuff.
Many.
I mean, this
Manny.
wasn't a bad movie, but it just wasn't an exciting movie
Yeah.
for me.
In price.
Scores?
Yes.
Creed 2 is gonna slap though. Whenever I pick that for.
Can I go first?
It's you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this movie, the main issue that I think I have with it, and it's totally just the realism of it. Like, this guy probably had like almost a 6-figure job, if not a 6-figure job, and
That
he
suit looked
legit
nice.
got promoted that you saw off camera, and he just fucking quits. He just like he vaguely knows that he's got like fighting blood, and he would rather just kind of sort of get his teeth
Yeah.
knocked in and like be this aspiring boxer. That is the most bullshit thing I have ever seen. And that's at the very beginning, right? And then he moves to this awful city. I'm sorry, Philadelphia. I love the
Philadelphia sucks.
It
cheesesteaks.
sucks.
I
It sucks.
love
I've been there.
Philadelphia
It's a bad
and its
city.
history. If you ever watch National Treasure, it's glorious.
It smells as bad as it feels.
I
It's a
like
terrible city.
Yep.
Philadelphia in theory, but I don't know why you would ever want to move there.
I
from
love the
LA.
show. If I could meet those people, it'd
Yeah.
be great. But it's
So
Not a
that's
fun
my
time.
only qualm with this movie. It's not a great qualm, but it's whatever. This movie's a 7.5. I think that it's a little high for me not liking Rocky, but I think that when this first came out, it was pretty huge, right? Like Rocky hadn't come out in years. And not only that, but they got Michael B. Jordan, which was really hot at the time. It was before Black Panther.
I don't think he
It
was.
Before...
Michael B. Jordan.
I don't think he was a hot commodity at the time.
I mean, he wasn't like huge.
No, I mean,
but
Thinking
he
like the
was...
last big movie he did was Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he was Johnny.
Yeah, and that movie was
whatever.
absolutely.
It was a bad movie.
That's another
Terrible.
one though that he was like kind of aspiring. He was like coming up in everything.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a hot commodity like Michael B. Jordan's in this
God
movie.
damn,
People be
sorry,
like,
Price. I guess he wasn't the hottest
Not
thing
at that
on the market.
time. I
But
mean, now
anyway,
he's the sexiest man alive. or
Tessa
whatever.
Thompson. You had a really good crew with all this. His mom, his adopted mom, was pretty big too. Like I've seen her in a lot of stuff.
Oh
seen
yeah,
her,
the
too.
actresses. Yeah,
This
she's-
movie was big.
Her and
for
Sly are actually the two
2015,
biggest
I guess.
actors in this one.
So
The mom?
maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. But yeah, 7.5 for me. I think it shot within its bounds. But again, this is a new boxing enthusiasts movie. If you're a boxer and you have any appreciation for Rocky, I think you're going to love this movie. Like, no doubt about it. It's written like Rocky. But it's got a lens that's not from 1970.
Right.
It's very much 2000 teens, right? Crazy.
We're not fighting both racism and the Soviet Union like as concepts.
You're
anymore.
fighting the dark alleys of Philadelphia and
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Scotland.
That's an
What was
uphill
that?
battle.
Yeah. All right, I'm done.
Nathan.
Okay, so, I mean, I've said my piece on how this movie just kind of
7
rides
out of
the
10.
middle of the road.
With Nathan scores, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean,
God damn it, Eric.
I like
I'll
to
never
really
forgive
just,
him. Come on, guys, don't be so mean.
Man, like, it rides the middle of the road. It's just, it just feels like a filler episode to me. But because of that, I don't even want to give it a middle of the road score because I was a little disappointed. I thought it would be more than what it was. So I'm just going to land at a 4 with it. Just fall on the other side of average. The video game though, the VR game, I'll give that a solid 6.
Next
It's a
week
little
we'll
too
review.
short, but as VR boxing goes, they did a pretty good job. And you do get to beat up on that guy that I now have context for because I played it before watching the movie, and boy did he deserve it. And I'm glad that I just windmilled the top of his head until he fell.
I'm imagining very poor CG, bobblehead.
It's actually kind of sad that the VR game brought Nathan more satisfaction
Yeah.
than the 2 hour and 15-minute long feature film.
So I guess that I'm next. And basically made the point that is a 1970s movie through a 2010 scope. I'm not too big a fan of that because it still is like a relic of the past in that it doesn't really innovate or do too much to make itself stand out any. It just kind of follows that same formula, which again, I am still giving it credit for the ending in which he does lose. But again, like Rocky says though, if it went on 10 seconds longer, he was gonna win.
Yeah.
If it went on 10 seconds longer. So you can kind of argue that he kind of won because his reputation within the boxing community is now super, super high.
Skyrocketing.
Because nobody expected him to do anything in that fight. But other than that, the movie didn't do anything extraordinary for me. I just felt like a visceral hate whenever that scene. Because I hate it when movies talk down to their audience. And that just felt like that. To a T, there's no subtlety at all in this movie. Of course, the dirt bike scene.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because you didn't say it.
Yeah.
That's fair. But there's just no subtlety to this movie at all. Everything is very ham-fisted and in your face. But again, it's like a Rocky kind of movie, which apparently these movies kind of are. But I don't care. I haven't seen the rest of these movies, and that's not what I want in my movies. I like subtlety a lot more in movies, unlike this movie, and it's long. And I was really hoping the part that I was hoping would stand out for me is the soundtrack, because going into this movie, what I'd heard the most about this movie is probably the soundtrack, that it's really good. And I really listened for it and tried to find anything that stood out, but it didn't do anything extraordinary for me. So I'm gonna have to land at a 4 out of 10 for my score, just on the other side of average. Good way to put it.
Ooh.
Oof.
Wish you could have used that a year and a half ago when you started giving everything 4s.
Yeah. Now it's only 4s.
I'll keep it going. Keep throwing
I know
them
you
4s.
will.
Oh no, we'll keep picking.
I was
movies
thinking about
that are
going
good.
around 3s, but I think I gave Excalibur or something around that way, and I'm like,
You dropped. You were 2 or 1.
yeah.
I hated that movie.
Well,
Does
I
Excalibur have a
detested that
sequel?
movie.
Can you pick that?
I wish.
Oh my god.
Well, the sequels were supposed to be The Lord of the Rings. If you remember, the
What? Yeah.
director made Excalibur to try and sell
Get
people
into
on letting him make Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Price
Yeah.
gave Excalibur a 1.5.
Oh, did I?
That checks out.
Yeah,
That vibes.
sounds right.
Only thing I think I gave lower was Brick.
I'm not checking that. you gave it a 1.
Yeah.
I know you did.
This movie's an 8. It's a good movie. I'm surrounded by idiots, except for Mason.
I started at an 8. If
I
that
can't-
makes you feel any better,
Yeah.
but
I probably started at an 8.5, but yeah, the more I think about it, and the more, especially whenever I'm thinking future set into Creed 2, which I'll pick just to keep hearing 4s on this one. Oh hell yeah, I just like everything they put in there, man. I've said it time and time again, and I'll be the first to say that it's extra by most standards, and at the end of the day, it's all right, I ordered a pizza and then they gave me fucking peppers. But the peppers are kind of good, I don't know. If I like what they give me, then who am I to complain? I had
you're
a
not
good
going
time
to send
with
it back. You're going to give it a shot. Maybe
Yeah.
you're going to like it. I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, it's not perfect. It definitely has its flaws. There's an argument to be made that it could be shorter on it. Honestly, for me, I do kind of wish there was a little bit more fights to make it fill out the rising up on it. But then at that point, there's 1, 2, 2.5, 3-ish fights. Maybe 4 fights feels right. I mean, Warrior
think
could do that many
one
fights.
more fight squeezed in
Right,
could have made sense.
Shrink some of the drama
Agreed.
on, and I'll meet Mason halfway on it. The Rocky drama, whenever it's not really the Rocky drama, so to speak, but just kind of getting more insight into Rocky's life and homage with it is whenever he's talking to Adrian and doing that stuff, which again I like. But if you're telling me, all right, you have the choice between that and another fight that helps build up Creed, I'm probably another fight.
Yeah, because this movie is supposed to be about Creed.
And there's
Right.
a lot of Rocky in this movie.
There's way too much, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not that, it's Tessa Thompson saying, you didn't tell me that your uncle was Rocky.
Yeah.
You didn't tell
me that your dad was Adonis Creed, and it's bitch, I've only known you for 2 weeks. Let me fucking get there, all right?
Yeah.
This is all new to me too. Still fucking really enjoy Tessa Thompson, though. She's a delight.
I know you keep saying that. I do not understand it. She is cute, but like,
Yeah, she's just fun.
I don't know.
She's a little less fun in the second movie, but at the same time, it's like, oh, there's so much good stuff on it. Spoiler for the second movie, they start out with him winning the title, but it's like 3 years down the road. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think
I
you're
don't
gonna
care.
It's a
spoil
spoiler
that
for Creed 2.
anyway. I don't think they're gonna watch it.
No,
No.
They'll watch it because I'll pick it. Mark my words, I found a movie franchise that I like, that Mason kind of likes, and
All right.
these two can't stand.
I'm either picking another Ghibli or Scorsese movie then.
Oh,
You pick a
don't
North
do
Skating
it.
movie, we'll just leave.
But before you pick that, we have to pick our favorite of the month.
That's true. We're at the end of rotation.
I'll pick The Irishman.
This has been a hell of a month, by the way.
This is, oh yeah. If we're
Nathan,
talking,
what'd you pick? What was
Oh,
yours?
okay, Mason. Whoa, slow down.
What was yours?
We're bantering here.
No, there's no banter.
Mandy.
Mandy. It was
Mandy.
that Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage class.
That feels
Yeah.
like forever ago.
Oh
does.
yeah.
Price.
Mine was Emperor's New Groove.
I picked Creed, and
The
Mason
Social
picked
Network.
Social Network.
God.
And Mason's gonna sweep with the Social Network one. I'll go first. Has to be Social Network. You guys left me with doo-doo.
Emperor's New Groove is delightful.
If
Emperor's New
you're 7.
Groove is worse since I've watched it.
You're insane.
And Mandy, arguably, is better since I've watched the trailer. So the chainsaws were really fun.
Mandy was kind of fun.
Just
Mandy's
the
fun.
bathroom scene is what I'll never forget.
In his underwear.
Yeah,
Those tidy
with
whities.
a tiger shirt on.
Here's my point of reference for Mandy.
You ripped my shirt!
Compared to Emperor's New Groove, I laughed more at Mandy than I did with Emperor's New Groove.
You're crazy.
Perspective is everything.
So I will say yes, I did audibly laugh more at Mandy, but I found Emperor's New Groove to be funny.
Charming.
Like,
Yeah.
it was
But you're
just
laughing-
like that childhood, like, aw, Kronk.
But you're
so
laughing
great.
at Mandy.
Oh,
You're not laughing for
Oh,
the
yeah.
reasons that Mandy is
Listen,
wanting you
Look,
to laugh.
reasons aside.
if it's giving you a chuckle, it's giving you a chuckle.
Yeah.
I
Laugh's
don't
a laugh.
agree.
I'm glad to have the positivity in a movie, but
That's fine,
All
it's
right,
your pick.
Social Network. Social Network. What's
Yep.
yours?
You all gave me nothing to work with. I did not like Mandy. I obviously did not like this movie. I cannot believe I'm saying it.
I can.
After all the crap I've given you, Mason, but these dum-dums gave me nothing to work with this month. So my conciliatory prize goes to you, apparently. So Social Network apparently gets it from me because usually you give me something to work with. No surprise here.
Fuck you. I've been dealing with you all year. Here's Creed.
Oh, man. So
This is for all the
I'm not sure.
Scorsese.
I'm just gonna keep riding this train, and Social Network's getting another vote.
Yeah.
But what do you vote, Mason?
It's very interesting.
I was about to say, you go to a buffet and you see Asian food,
No.
Mexican food, and
That's a very good point. This is not only a buffet. This is a Golden Corral.
yeah,
oh,
Because
yeah.
everything here.
this is everything, and man, I'm not hungry. I have just spent $17 on the Golden Corral buffet, and man, I've never been less hungry. I'm just kidding. I don't know, Creed or Emperor's New Groove probably would take it. I guess.
Mandy's not.
Mandy. Okay, I said though.
Did you even know a chainsaw could be that long?
no.
It physically cannot
I didn't.
be. The problem with Mandy was I hated the first half of that movie.
That's
The
what I
second
keep thinking
half
of.
was
50% of them.
incredible.
The first
Yeah.
half of that movie
Oh,
is
yeah.
so
So bad.
awful
but
that
the
like
second half was
very
so
much a travesty.
good. From the bathroom scene on. And
Yeah.
you know,
Oh yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
the bathroom was the beginning of a good movie.
Yeah.
They should have broken it up into 2 movies.
Yeah.
Oh my
just
God.
showed his girlfriend like getting killed by these cult people, and then Nick Cage going crazy, and we're off to the
Oh
races.
yeah.
Exactly.
John
I'm gonna-
Wick did it.
I'm gonna go Creed.
Yeah.
I guess.
No,
Only because I urge you to watch the second one if you ended up watching the first
Oh,
one.
don't worry. They will. Give it a month.
1 month.
Yeah.
please.
At this point, I'm just. I know the scores are going to be low just because they're going to hate the idea they have to
Just
watch
gonna
Creed
burn
2.
a month.
It doesn't matter if they enjoy Creed 2. They'll go in and give it a low score because we did it like this. But you know what? It's the first time I've held on to a genre, and let's John, you've done animation and Scorsese for 5 years. Fuck you.
It's true.
You've done everything that's terrible for your whole career. I'm allowed 2 movies back to back that are
I
boxing.
picked some DreamWorks movies. You can get off on
animation
that.
or Scorsese back to back.
Yep. All right, Nathan, I think it's your pick next week. Do you have
Yeah.
anything in mind?
Well, yeah. I know exactly what I'm gonna.
because
pick.
what we just talked about,
Oh no.
or was it different?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
No. We are going to space,
Who would have thought?
but we're going to space for such a classic We're gonna watch Alien.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen it. That's good.
Wasn't that Fincher?
Well,
Nice.
it was good. I haven't seen it
That
since
was
like.
Fincher, wasn't
It's
it?
like a
Yeah,
classic,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's such
Fincher
a
did the original.
classic.
I'm ready for it. I
Ooh,
am
he might have
actually
done
excited. Is
Alien.
that
I
I
Sigourney
think he did
Weaver?
Alien
I can't-
3 or Aliens.
Yeah, I think he did Aliens, but I don't know if he did Aliens.
I'm ready for
like
this.
I was kind of debating whether it should be Alien or Aliens.
Right.
But
So
I
which
mean, you
one's-
got to start from
Is
the.
that the first one?
It's the
Yeah.
very
Okay.
first one.
It's Alien.
Can
Yeah,
I
just
offer a
Alien.
rebuttal? Can we just play the Alien video game?
Alien Isolation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. Let's just switch over
Nathan
to
will,
a game.
Nathan will
Alright,
play
yeah.
Alien
I would
VR.
love that.
We're gonna play the Creed game right after. We're gonna play Alien.
Get ready
Isolation.
for a cyberpunk review.
Oh, yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna get topical
Hey,
here.
if we record it now, you'll put it out next year.
So true.
It's when we did the Last of Us 2 one.
Make sure to check that out on this channel. I don't know. Did it ever get? Did
Yeah,
it,
it's
Oh,
been
yeah,
out.
it's on there.
I remember it up, but I'm like, did it go on the channel? I don't actually remember where.
Yeah, it
finally
went up right
did.
after Donkey's review.
That's right, of course. So I guess tune in next week to watch Alien, the cult classic. No, it's not. Well, yeah, it's kind of a cult classic.
Oh yeah,
but it's essentially it's a classic in
It's
itself.
it's
though.
it's
Yeah.
popular, but I mean
It's-
you could say it's still
yeah,
a
it's
cult
got that,
classic. I'd
yeah.
assume. It's
Ripley.
got that vibe.
Ripley gets an underwear. Check our show out next week. Bye, guys.
Bye. I watched The Faculty the other day. That's actually a really good one too, if you've ever seen it.
What's that?
Aaron Sorkin wrote the dialogue in that one, right?
I guess.
Yeah.
I just know that it's like a weird sci-fi movie about like a high school and
Oh yeah, the alien.
yeah, there's like a parasite that's based